right, so today I'm going to be giving you guys a framework that you can use on every single estimate, whether it's you or one of your sales reps, just so that way you can actually close more jobs without fumbling, rambling, or ending up fighting on price with your leads, right? It's called Closer. That's C.L.O.S.E.R. And each of those actually stand for something as well, But by the end of this, you will actually know exactly how to walk into any garage, any living room, or like a retail shop floor and know how to move that job forward, right? So the core principle here is that questions themselves create value with your lead. Whenever you just are rattling off a bunch of statements, it actually starts to create resistance. You can come off like a total a-hole, or you can come off very salesy if you're just sitting there telling them about the floor, about the thickness of the floor, the type of product that you use, all of that. You don't want to be just telling them stuff. You want to be, they want to feel like they're heard and like they know that you know what they want, right? So questions, asking them questions and having them answer the things themselves and give you the information and having them say it actually is a lot more valuable. So we'll go over that today, right? And this is just one of the big things I want to mention to you. The best closers, they're not the ones that are just sitting there talking. They actually are asking the questions. The one that talks the most is ends up losing. You should be asking questions, okay? So again, as we go through that, just keep that in mind. You should be asking questions. The rhythm is to ask questions. If they say something, mirror that back to them and then confirm what their problem is, what they're looking for, whatever it is. Again, we'll get into this a little bit more deep as we go. And then you just move that forward. That's the rhythm there, right? And one of the other big things to consider, another big principle, is that buyers are not afraid of price. They'll pay money for things that they want, but they are afraid of being wrong, making the wrong choice, having the wrong guy in their house, having the wrong company installing the floor that's going to cause more problems. That's what they're afraid of. So you got to squash those fears, right? Your job is to remove that fear and then anchor their story into the process and then give them this step that's the safest for them, right? The next step that they should take. And you want to guide them and be that expert. And the way that you do that is through questions. Okay. So, what exactly is closer? We'll break this down by letter, right? So C stands for clarifying. Your first move is motive. What's their motive? What are they looking for? If there's no motive, then there's not going to be any movement on the sale. Okay. They ended up booking you. If you're standing in their house, in their garage, in their business, they booked you for a reason. There was a reason why they reached out. So you need to find it. And you can ask them something as simple as like, so what had you bring us out today? Why now instead of later? That's maybe a little bit further in the sales process, right? And then you can always ask, like, hey, if nothing changes, like if you don't do anything, like what in here is going to get worse? Is there going to be more cracks? Is there going to be more moisture? What is what gets worse, right? And then you want to anchor it back in plain English to them, right? So okay, so you want a easy to clean up and floor and like a showroom look, right? Because you're just tired of the cracks and stains. Is that right? That right at the end sets the hook and then it carries the sale the rest of the way. That you're letting them know that you know what they're looking for, right? And then once you know that, then you can actually label them with the problem. Like now that you know, you can narrow back their exact words, even no jargon, no spin, just use their exact language. So like the real problem here is dust and then a bunch of cleanup, right? Did I get that right? If that's what they said, obviously, right? So, but whenever they're like, yes, no, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now you know that you've locked in on that alignment together, right? That one word, them saying exactly, it actually proves that they trust you and that they feel understood. So you need to get that. This is super important. I know maybe it seems weird, but going through these processes, there's actually psychological things that are happening in the background that we won't get into today, but you need to make sure that you clarify their problem and then label them with the problem. All right. And then the next thing is just the next natural step actually is O, to overview the past pain. So you want to show why it hasn't actually worked out for them. So you would ask them something like, what have you tried so far to fix this? Right. Or did you get other quotes from other companies before having me come out? Or asking them about that quote, what felt risky or what was missing out of that quote, right? You want to make sure that you're also respecting your competitors. Don't be bashing them, but just surface that gap, that difference that you close, right? But you need to show them that from the other quotes. Ask them to show you the quote. Look at like if they were cutting corners on the products, on the warranty, all of that. But when you go through this process and you ask them and you want to just kind of keep on going, like again, if they had you come out and there's cracks and stains and they're worried about the condition and what they're going to do, um ask them what they've done. Like, have you tried other type of flooring installations before? Have you ever did you try those tiles? Have you tried painting it? Have you tried that? Like, what all have you tried? And like, okay, and so you've tried this, you've tried this, you've tried this, and none of that has worked. So are you ready to get the actual final solution that you really need that is going to solve all of these problems, which me and all you guys, we all know it's generally epoxy, right? That's like it's very strong, it's durable, but it needs to be installed right as well, right? But whenever you go through all of these things that they've done, it makes the change more urgent. It reminds them that they've been stuck in dealing with this problem, and then you're the one that's there right now, so that way you can fix it. But again, if you don't ask all of these questions and if you don't go over all of this, they won't see that you know what you're talking about, right? That's why this is so powerful. And then so once you've clarified what the problem is, once you've labeled them with that problem, cool cracks, cool this, cool, you just want to do it. You don't want hot tire pickup, you don't want oil stain, whatever it is, right? Once you've gone and you label them with that, you say, oh, so it sounds like this is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get some a coating in here so that way this new concrete doesn't get messed up, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. And so what have you tried anything yet? Have you gotten any other quotes? Okay, cool. And then the next thing to do is to actually go into selling. Once you've overviewed everything, you've labeled it, right? Then you go into the selling portion of things. The thing is that you want to sell the actual vacation. You don't want to sell the ingredients. You want to sell the outcome, right? So you don't want to sell the millimeter thickness, the thickness of the floor, the ingredients that go into the floor, right? You want to sell the outcome of what it's like. There's three anchors that are pretty simple. You guys can use this for your own. You can take this and build it into your own branding, but three anchors could be sharp, simple, and tough, right? So that's like the ending vacation of them installing the floor is that they have a sharp floor with a commercial look and it's a quality finish, right? It's simple. They can clean it up really easy with a hose and a squeegee. And then it's also tough. You do the thick prep. You do prep. You do thick floors, and it's not gonna pill, right? And you can always use analogies too. You can say something like, "Oh yeah, it's like a spray-in bed liner, but for your concrete. It looks super sharp. It washes really quick, and it's not gonna peel, and you won't get damage to the floor, right?" You want to paint the picture of the day after the install, right? So you're like, "Hey, yeah, by next weekend." You'll just hose this once. You can squeegee it and it'll be bone dry, slip resistant, whatever it is that you're selling, right? Your truck will be able to park on this and it'll be clean. And then if any oil drips, you can clean it up real easy, right? Your kids' shoes can stay clean, all of that, right? That is also why you ask all of these things. So that way you know what they don't like and you don't include those parts in your sales pitch. When you're selling the vacation, again, not pitching the products and the services in your business, you pitch the outcome, right? And then the next thing is just naturally, once you're done selling, you can go into E in the closer framework. So again, it's clarify, label, overview, sell. And then once you've sold them, you're like, yeah, this is what we do. This is why we're amazing. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be uh, sharp, simple, and tough. You'll be able to do all of these things, right? You go through that. Then you just ask them, hey, do you want me to go ahead and get you on the schedule? And then whatever comes back, whether they're saying like, oh, I'm unsure about the time, I'm not sure about the smell, I'm not sure about the product or the price, whatever, you can just answer that with authority at that point. You're like, oh yeah, no, like my products are actually low odor, it's going to vent out and it's going to clear and it'll be like the same day you'll be good to go, right? Or if they're concerned about hot tire pickup, right? Like the actual system itself, you're like, no, the system is hot tire rated. It's what prevents the peeling when you pull the car in, right? So short confident answers. Don't give them speeches, but you do want to find out what their objections are. And then you can do it right there while you're with them. You know, hey, you want me to go ahead and get you on the schedule, or is something stopping you? What's the thing stopping you? Oh, let me show you this. Let me show you this. So that way you don't walk away with questions, right? And then once they do move forward, this is this is at the end once they actually have purchased from you. The R is actually to reinforce force the decision. This is where most guys are actually blowing it. You get the deposit and then it's silence up until like the day. Maybe you have a system that's texting them like, "Oh, hey, we'll be out there." Not enough. What you want to actually focus on is making the yes feel safe. You want to thank them, you want to reassure them, and then follow up with them and say, yeah, and anchor the date, like I said, with those text messages. But you want to also make sure that you're going out of your way to reassure them, right? Something like, hey, I appreciate your time today. You made the right call on wanting something sharp, simple, and tough installed. We're locked in for Friday the 12th at 8 a.m., and I'll send the prep checklist tonight. That text message alone actually kills what's called buyer's remorse, right? Where they buy it and they're like, oh, I don't know if I really should have done that. That actually kills buyer's remorse. And then it makes the yes actually end up sticking. So when you put everything together, everything that we just talked about, right? And you might have to go through this a few times to like pick up that flow, but it goes through C, like, why now? Why did you get me out here? Okay, cool. Label it and mirror it back to them. Then you want to figure out why past fixes failed. And then you want to paint the day after for the sales process, right? E is to explain away concerns and make sure that they're short answers and that you actually close them. You keep moving them. Okay. Well, are you ready to get on the schedule? Okay. Well, are you ready? Okay. So we talked about the hot tire. Are you ready to get on the schedule? Oh, what about your wife? Let's call your wife. Okay. And now are you ready to get on the schedule? Just keep going. Just go through whatever. Sometimes the thing is that people actually want you to do that too. They have questions. They have you're moving too fast actually, and so that's why they're saying they need to talk to their wife because they do have questions. So, but you're actually standing in front of them, right? So you can actually you can have the opportunity to actually answer those objections and get them and close them. You know, just give them short answers and close them, and then after the close, reinforce the decision that they made. Right? If you skip clarifying or labeling them, you're going to end up fighting on price because they're not going to see that you understand their problem enough and that your price will be too high to solve their problem, right? If you skip reinforcing the decision, you'll actually lose people in the process of like, yeah, we're good, and then not actually paying the deposit or getting on the schedule, right? But this is how, when you go through that process, and again, it's kind of easy because you can remember C.L.O.S.E.R. Where am I at? Oh, okay. Like we trailed off a little bit, but I was overviewing the pain. Let's see if there's any more pain before I go into selling, right? So that's how that's a mental framework you can use. And it's how you turn your leads into actual book jobs. Closer is the actual system. And that word system, a lot of the times when I use it, I think you guys get confused, but system is a process, right? So it's a process you can follow. And it's the process on how to get leads to turn into book jobs. And so what I want you guys to do is go ahead and run this in your business, refine it as you go, learn more, ask me questions, and then watch as you guys do this, watch your close rates climb. Okay. And then if you want to reach out to me, I have like an action plan with a one-page card that you can kind of print out. It goes over some of the common failure modes and just a card so you can make sure that also some objection lines that you can use as well, just some short objections like we were talking about. So reach out to me. You can DM me if you're on the call. You'll get it after the call, but just DM me. Reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, the Facebook group, wherever you guys are seeing this. You can reach out to me and just say that you want the closer framework, and I can get that to you. But I appreciate you guys jumping on this call today, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And let me know if you have any questions.